You're entering the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome, the Pat Mayo Experience, the final fantasy football ranking show of the season. Ian Hartitz out, Jake Ciely in. Ian had too much to do, Jake.
I think he just got tired of us, honestly.
Yeah, probably. He did send us his rankings, though, so that was helpful.
I know. At least he did that for us. But also, we didn't get to see if he would wear anything Christmassy. Like, I got my, pajama Christmas thing kind of going on. So, still wearing jeans, though.
I'm basically dressed like Garth from the beginning of Wayne's World at this point. It's like some people do anything for money, and that's just sad. But I don't think so. Hey, this jacket rules.
It looks super comfortable. I was trying to figure out what you look like, and that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, so play on Underdog, code Mayo, and there's the presents wrap that are up there right now. There's new bonuses every single day. Highly recommend that you do it. Question for you. If I have Devontae Adams, and I want to play him because he's a very good receiver, but we're probably not going to know whether or not he's playing maybe until Monday, what do you do?
Don't count on it. I mean, honestly, it sounded like it's already doubtful because what was it, McVay yesterday? My days are already mixed up. Merry Christmas week, everybody. That's what happens. McVay made it sound doubtful to start. And I know it's McVay, and I know the situation can change. And we'll know more by Friday. But basically, if we got to Friday and he hasn't practiced a single time by Friday, I would assume not at this point because, I mean, we're talking about Devontae Adams and they don't really need him at this point. They're still doing well without him. I know they lost the game. I just meant like the performance. They still played well without him. It wasn't the fact of the offense of why they lost that game. Sidebar. The problem is like if you wait for that game, Darnell Mooney, and he's rostered in a lot of spots, you're not turning to Kanata Mumfield, who was cool in that game, but he's not going to come close to Adams. So I would say like that would be the only thing. It's like if you have a backup plan on your bench, where it's Alec Pierce, all of a sudden Phillip Rivers, unless it's not Phillip Rivers, but like an Alec Pierce type. I'm trying to think of somebody else that you might be able to find off the waiver. Like Luther Burden's on waivers right now, and he ends up playing. Any upside plays like that, I would just take him besides waiting on Adams.
It becomes somewhat difficult, I suppose. Because you would probably want to wait till Saturday because it's the Monday game. The Saturday practice is going to be the important one.
Right.
It just, you start running out of games because games are going on at these times.
Yes, and that's the big thing too. Is we have 3, so you're already going to be out the window of 3 games on Thursday. But looking at those, I mean, who's even on those rosters that you were thinking about anyway? Like Troy Franklin would be the only one. Everybody else is rostered, or you're starting them to start with. Like Justin Jefferson, even if it's Brosmer, you're going to play the Dallas guys, the Detroit guys. So anyway, so now you get to Saturday. You're not going to go to Houston for anybody. Quentin Johnston.
Yeah. Quentin Johnston. Maybe
if Saturday before that game, we find out that Devontae Adams still isn't practicing, I would just throw Quentin Johnston out there.
I think that's probably the Quentin Johnston line is pretty good. Although he dropped en masse after not doing anything for a while. And then after last week, everyone's going to go pick him up again to play him for 0 points.
Because that's Quentin Johnston.
Yeah.
I'm checking right now. His rostership 64, which means a lot of people did drop him. And I say a lot because he was near 80%. So to have that significant of a drop when you have to figure there's a lot of inactive teams at this point, that he might be out there in your league. So if that's the one, then yes, I would risk it, even though because Justin Herbert looked the best he has since he messed up his left hand. Even with that little contraption thing he still got on the left hand, he looked great in that game. I was honestly surprised.
So Ian has Quentin Johnston ranked at number 35 in the rankings this week against Houston. It's not a great matchup, obviously, against Houston. And right after him, he has like Troy Franklin, Shakir, Dobbs, Debo, Parker Washington, Jordan Addison, A.D. Mitchell, Igbuka. Yeah. Are any of those guys, like, would you wait it out and have to play? Because, I mean, the one thing that you need to do if you are waiting in on Adams is go pick up one of these other Rams receivers, I suppose. And just in case that's the fallback plan. But, like, would you rather start a Romeo Dobbs or wait it out if there's a chance? Like, if we know that there's no chance, then, like, whatever. And just play whoever at that point that you can go pick up. But I think I would wait it out for Adams just to see.
Yes, like Jordan Addison plays on Thursday. I wouldn't play Addison being like, oh my gosh, what happens if I don't get Adams? Because what is Addison going to do, especially if it's Brosmer? So, like, down that list, as soon as you started mentioning all those names, Shakir's not even a floor. Dobbs isn't even a floor anymore these days. I mean, they legitimately get you 1 or 2 points in some of their games. Troy Franklin is the only one I might think about.
That's Thursday.
Just because Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to say. That's the problem is you have to already decide that on Thursday. So what the move there might be if you are in that situation, which you should be making this move anyway. And I can't believe I'm still watching people like this is going to sound so condescending, but like this, honestly, I can't believe people are still doing this. They're playing Thursday and Saturday players in their flex. And I get it. It's like, well, I have 4 wide receivers. I'm going to start them anyway. No, because you never know what happens. Like something might happen on Friday, a practice injury or anything like that. Don't tie up your flex spot and limit your options to switch to come Sunday. So in that case, why I'm saying this is like maybe you want to play Franklin as your third wide receiver on Thursday, keep that flex spot for Adams, where if you don't have Adams, maybe you turn to Tyler Algier. There's another one because you had Adams in your flex.
Yeah, that's a potential possibility. Corum is probably owned, and you could try that out.
Just start him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I still, if you made it to the fantasy finals, do you think that you were playing Blake Corum along the way? Probably not.
I mean, you might have had such a good roster that you started playing him in the past 2-3 weeks. I mean, essentially since about week 11, 12, he's been David Montgomery 2024, which you might as well just start him in your flex.
What do you make of the Browns backfield? Because I think that at least for PPR purposes, even half-point PPR purposes, that whoever gets the start there, I think it's going to end up being valuable just because Shadur's become the check down king over the past 2 weeks. That I hit a huge bet this week on my main man, Travion Williams, where it was over 20 receiving yards, 4 more catches, and like boom, quick 17-1. But he's still primarily just playing passing downs. We saw obviously Judkins go down, but Dylan Sampson might be back this week, and Dylan Sampson might be like a really nice play.
So that's the appeal here. If it is Dylan Sampson, which hopefully, because it's his hand, but that might limit his pass catching abilities. But the point being, that's where his strength is anyway, is that he's going to timeshare no matter what, as we've already seen earlier this season, but he's timesharing as the lead who's a pass catcher. Like Raheem Sanders is kind of more, I made the joke to your old boy, Gus Bus. I called him Gus Moss because he felt like a cross between Gus Edwards and Zach Moss. To that point being is I don't expect him to be used a lot in the passing game. And that's kind of what we saw after Judkins left, the Travion Williams thing, what you're talking about. So if it is Sampson, I think that obviously kills Williams, but Sanders would be the second piece. I actually don't love Sanders as much as Sampson if Sampson doesn't return because of what you just said. I actually think that the long shot play might be Williams because the Steelers defense, since they got, they got the guy back, they legitimately have given up almost the exact amount of rushing yards and twice the amount of games when he's on the field. Did you math that out? How strong their defense has been?
Well, I saw them shut down Montgomery and Gibbs and was like, this isn't normal. I watched James Cook put up 240 yards against him like 3 weeks ago.
And that's the thing is that it's what the heck is the guy's name? I'm going to see if I can find it. No, they just Derek Harmon. When Derek Harmon's out there, they've legitimately in twice the amount of games given up the same amount of rush yards because they just stifle everybody.
This happened with the Patriots, too. I forget who it was they ended up losing on the defensive side of it. They lost 2 guys on the defensive side of the ball, and all of a sudden their run defense went to shit.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like the opposite, like when they have Harmon. So that's the concern. That's to go back to this. That's why I don't love Sanders as much because he's more between the tackles and not much of a pass catcher. That if he's the lead, I would rank Sampson higher than Sanders if either one of them is the lead to make that clear.
I would agree with you. If Sampson is active, I'm just trying to figure out where to slot him in now because we are dealing with another. It's so hard in a fantasy championship to have to rely on some of these guys, but Jordan Mason probably not going to play on Christmas Day, which means Aaron Jones would have the entire backfield to himself. Now, it is a matchup where, listen, you can run on Detroit. That's something that you can do. And then you have to deal with Brosmer being in the backfield. Will they lean more on Aaron Jones? Will he have any running room? The initial ranking that Ian had for him was at number 28 among running backs. That was a spot behind Daddle, a spot ahead of Woody Marks, who still may or may not play, probably going to play this week against the Chargers. If there is no Jordan Mason, where would you have, do you think, Aaron Jones? And would that be ahead of someone like Dylan Sampson if he ended up getting the start?
100% in front of Dylan Sampson, and I would 100% have him in front of Breece Hall at this point because Tyrod Taylor is not going to be the quarterback. They already announced Brady Cook yet again. Breece Hall, as a complete sidebar, I'd even move him down further than he has him. But Aaron Jones, I think the conversation for me would probably come in around Javonte Williams because I would play him over Kenneth Walker as a split part of that backfield. And then we never know what you're going to get out of Kenneth Walker. And I know he just had the game and everybody's like, oh, I wish I would have went with Kenneth Walker. But that's the problem with the Seahawks backfield. So we do this all the time. we know Aaron Jones is going to get the volume. We know Aaron Jones is going to see a lot of work, and the Detroit run defense hasn't been as scary as it's been at the beginning of the year now. So I would start him, despite the fact that the Steelers running backs are going nuts, both of them together. I would still rather trust somebody I know is going to get 80% of the work than trying to hope that a split backfield is going to put up as much production on fewer touches.
I would actually, he has Warren over Gainwell. Even in a half-point PPR, I would still go with Gainwell. I think you'll just see an uptick.
I think we have to.
I just think you'll see an even bigger uptick in his receiving numbers with DK Metcalf out.
That's a really good point too, but I think we kind of have to. And I think the appeal here is that both of them should see more work. But what if the Browns just, it kind of comes to what you were just saying. It's like, what if the Browns say, you know what? Well, you have no DK Metcalf. We've seen what Aaron Rodgers has done with nobody else the entire year and basically thrown to nobody else for the entire year outside mostly the tight ends. So we're just going to keep 6 at least in the box every single play. Well, to your point, who's more advantageous in that aspect is Kenneth Gainwell in the passing game.
Are there any Steelers receivers that you would consider playing tight ends without DK Metcalf around?
Oh, tight ends. All 3 of them might score. This is what Arthur Smith loves to do now. You're going to see combined 20 targets for the 3 of them. I guess the big play would be everybody keeps chasing. I feel like people are chasing Darnell Washington because he's fun. Because
he's huge.
6. Yes, because he's 6'6", 300 some odd pounds, and just watching him run is fun.
I think 6'6" is like underselling his size. I think he's like 6'9".
So he's the big show.
6 foot.
Really?
He's 6'7", 270 pounds.
Oh, he lost weight.
Yeah, he's down. Wow,
he's slimmed down. The last time I checked earlier this season, who's still listed as 6'7", but he's 310. So he must have dropped a few pounds.
Or maybe that's what he was coming into the league when I just looked up his height and I just had his weight next to it. Maybe he has gained an extra 40 pounds since then. He's a tank. I don't know how people tackle him. He's a tank.
Dude, I'm going to say I'm almost half his weight, and I think he runs faster than I do.
I can almost guarantee you that he runs faster than you
do. Wow, thanks, Pat.
He's a professional football player who doesn't play like guard. He's a tight end.
Still,
he can run.
He can run. I think I would get him on the long distance, though.
Yeah, true. If you had to run a half marathon against him, I'd probably lean towards you.
Oh, I was going to say a half mile. Are you kidding me?
I don't know. He's, again, professional athlete. You never know. All right, so we got some questions in the chat from people who are here for their fantasy championships. Congratulations. I wish you great luck this week. If you want to have the most luck possible in your fantasy championship, smash the like, sub to the channel. Those things will give you great karma in winning your championship this week. Lost Tucker Craft have been playing tight end roulette since the injury. Do I risk playing Taysom Hill? My team is led by the big 4 of Gibbs, Bijan, Jacobs, and Puka. Ooh.
Yes.
I lost $15,000 this weekend because Taysom Hill threw that last touchdown pass and not Tower Shock. I was very upset.
And you're not in New Orleans slashing his tires, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, it was terrible news. Like, he just throws that, I have enough points, I end up coming in second in the big $100, and boom, I came 9th and said I would have come in second. I was like, I was fired up at the time too. I was like, that looks like a really weird throw from a righty. I was like, oh no, it's fucking Taysom Hill. Why?
Dude,
why Taysom Hill?
That's brutal. But I mean, that's the point. So yes, Taysom Hill, I have him in my waiver column, and it comes to. Look, I don't expect this to happen, but if Alvin Kamara comes back, this throws kind of most of it out the window.
The answer is no if Kamara is back.
Right, because, you're not going to get enough from the receiving game, and you can't bank on the passing touchdown every single week. I mean, they might not even give him a passing opportunity this week against the Titans, but the rushing and receiving potential combined alone puts him at least in the tight end. He'd be a back-end tight end one, but that's the point here, is he's a back-end tight end one. Like over Theo Johnson, if George Kittle is out, I would play him over Tonjes. Like, I would play him as a back-end tight end one.
Well, that's an interesting conversation to build up right now, too, because Kittle did leave that game with an ankle injury, and no one really knows the severity of it because obviously he didn't have to come back in. He sounded relatively optimistic when I watched his presser after the game, but who knows?
Well, do you see the part where they showed him on the sideline and he was doing the shuffle backwards and he looked like he was okay? I was kind of curious about that because, I mean, the camera didn't stay on him long enough to be like if he winced going back to the bench, but you at least saw him doing the sideways shuffle backwards, testing the ankle. And he looked okay. So I don't know if this was just the fact that the game was well in control and they were like, don't risk it. But yeah, that's an interesting one. I think Tonjes is in play, but again, Tonjes would be higher without Pearsall. He would probably be way down my streamers if Pearsall returns.
How owned is Juwan Johnson right now? Like,
I was surprised. He's doesn't even make the streamer list. People have been on him, and like I don't know if it's just because it's. Well, as was say, I don't know if the tight end situation was just kind of like, hey, you know, he was not doing much for a couple weeks, but we're just going to still hang on and wait for it to come back because it's tight end. Yeah, he's at 66.
So of Ian's rankings, it's McBride, Bowers, Kittle, Fannin, Pitts, Juwan Johnson, Taysom Hill, Loveland at 8, Strange at 9, Schultz, Ferguson, Goddard, Warren, Parkinson, Gesicki. So Gesicki, like, let's say Kamara does play and then that X's out Taysom Hill, Juwan Johnson's owned, Loveland is owned. By Ian's ranks, Gesicki would be the guy that you would go and pick up.
It would be the one that to pick up. I would make a case for Ferguson. Ferguson ran more routes. They use Parkinson more in blocking. This is with the assumption that there's no Devontae Adams.
Which I mean, we just talked through the Adams thing. Like, that might be a bridge too far of having to wait for
to go to Terrence Ferguson,
a potentially backup tight end in a game where he's only relevant if Adams doesn't play.
True, because that's the thing. Is the big thing is it started with the game before is that Terrence Ferguson came in and was running more routes with Parkinson. They were still both on the field. They ran a lot of 12, obviously, and even more 13. But if there is no Adams, yeah, that's a bridge too far. But if you're only trying to stream tight end and you want to grab Ferguson, I think if we knew there was no Adams as of today, first of all, swap Parkinson and Ferguson. I got the Ferguson thing wrong. We set Ferguson and Brissett. We sat here and was like, hey, we finally trust both of you. It's been 6 weeks of Parkinson and about 8 of Jacoby Brissett. And they both go belly up in week 16 and ruined a lot of teams. But the biggest thing with Parkinson is that they asked him to block more in that game. And I think it was just a factor of what Ferguson can do and Parkinson can do. And Parkinson's, it goes back to, remember OJ Howard and Cameron Brate? And it was like, oh my God, OJ Howard should be so much better. And it's like, well, OJ Howard is definitively the better blocker than Cameron Brate. So he still runs the same amount of routes as Brate, despite being on the field more. That's essentially what happened to Parkinson.
If Noah Fant continues to be out for the Bengals, just with them playing Arizona, who can't cover anyone at this point, I'd probably just lean Gesicki. Just be like, screw it. Let's go. Hopefully catch. He had a revenge touchdown against the Dolphins last week. Like, if that's what your season comes down to, that's what it comes down to. But that would be, if it's not Taysom Hill, it would be Gesicki for me. And again, Taysom Hill, I do think becomes, I don't want to say irrelevant if Kamara plays, but the reason that you're playing him is taken away by Kamara coming back. I don't think Kamara's coming back, in fairness.
I agree with you. And I think Gesicki's, I would actually prefer, he's got him way up there and he can't defend it, of course, as we come for him. But
yeah, let's come for Ian.
No, I don't like the Colston Loveland ranking. He's had every opportunity to do it with, like, this is last week. He just had no Luther Borden or Roma Dunze and still couldn't do anything with it just because
Caleb
Williams doesn't need him.
I can defend this.
Okay.
This is a different defense they're going up against this week. Like, the Niners defense isn't very good.
It's true.
And like a lot of everyone being down on the Bears last week was even without Micah Parsons, they just had trouble moving the ball.
They did. But let me go back to his rankings. Does he have Luther Burden in? Because that'd be the thing. So he has Luther Burden out. So I'll give him a pass on that. So there you go.
So if Luther Burden plays, you'd bump down. Although I think people continue to and maybe without Kittle, if he doesn't play, it'll be different. People just continue to underrate how good the San Francisco offense is.
Completely. And Juwan Jennings just continues to score touchdowns every single week.
And then not give the ball to a fan.
At least he didn't try to punch him in the face.
I'm going to keep loading up on some of these injuries to talk about a little bit more. You guys keep loading in questions. We'll get to all of them today. I promise you on that. Anything with... So let's pretend like I just saw that Driscoll is back. Jeff Driscoll just got signed to the active roster for the Commanders. So I think that more and more indicates that Mariota's not going to play, that it's going to be Josh Johnson. Who are the Washington players you would play in your fantasy finals?
Terry McLaurin, end of list, and that's only as a wide receiver 3 and probably mid there. I'll go to Ian's ranks and I'll look. Even with Brosmer, I'd probably go Jefferson over McLaurin. Like at that situation, I would play Brian Thomas. I would play Jaden Reed. I would play Marvin Harrison going against the Bengals, assuming he's healthier than he was last week. Godwin, Ibuka took the 3rd seat there. They pushed him right to number 3 after that second game back of Mike Evans, which is a little bit surprising to me. So yeah, now we're fringe wide receiver 3. He's in the with Josh Johnson. He's in the conversation of Quentin Johnston and Troy Franklin.
Another running back note to think about here. I understand it's a very tough matchup, but Omarion Hampton, he has ranked at number 16. I don't think we're seeing Vidal after that neck injury, that it could just be all him. I don't know how much Haskins is going to get involved, but I would love Hampton here. We just saw Genty torch them.
Oh, and that's the thing. So the last 2 weeks about so I got asked this in my waiver column. They're like, how did the Houston Texans defense go from your 1 or 2 defense overall in week? Because I projected out, and I stopped doing streamers. I just projected out like my top 12 defenses, and Houston was sitting there at number 1 for this week upcoming. But it was twofold. It was the Houston Texans defense, and then also the fact that Justin Herbert's left hand was being an issue, and that offensive line. That's 2 weeks in a row. Granted, in different facets. They gave up a ton to Jacoby Brissett in the passing game, and then they get torched by Genty in the run game. So I'm just saying they're still a good defense, but they've shown vulnerabilities 2 weeks in a row against teams where you're kind of like, you know what, you should do better. I know Jacoby Brissett's been doing good, but he just bellied up last week against a defense that's not supposedly as good as they were, and they let, as you said, Genty run all over him. I am with you. And Marion Hampton, I don't think Vidal is going to be out there. I would play him over Derrick Henry for whatever reason that the Ravens continue to pull him off the last 12 minutes and 50 seconds he wasn't on the field. Just fire Harbaugh on the spot.
Trevian Henderson left that game on Sunday night too. No idea what his status is moving forward. But let's say he sits, because Ian has him at number 13 in the running back rankings. Let's say he doesn't play. Where does Stevenson go to against the Jets, who everyone runs on?
I think Stevenson would be right there. I would play Genty against the Giants run defense, which is non-existent. I think I would consider Stevenson over Irving, mainly because Irving gets touches inside the 10, but then he loses them all inside the 5 to Sean Tucker. So I would probably go Stevenson, then Irving.
Yeah, I was surprised he had Javonte so low at number 19. I think Javante's a great play this week.
Oh, they might. Yeah, I would put Javonte Williams even over Irving. And
I would too. I would have him up in that Kyron Williams. Like, I'd have him over RJ. I know RJ Harvey's been really good, but I'd have him above those. I know he's getting the ball. I know it. You see the stats, you watch the games. They're like, here's our play. We're either going to bomb it or we're going to give it to Javonte Williams. And the offense has been cooking. I mean, they didn't in the second half against the Chargers, but overall, Javante's been very good. This is a great matchup.
And that's what I was going to say, is they should be running out the clock against them with Josh Johnson, or, I mean, assuming it's Josh Johnson. So
even if it's not Josh Johnson, if it's Mariota, they're running out the clock.
Yeah, that's also true, because Mariota would be playing through an injury anyway. Mariota hasn't been that great at all, honestly. So, I mean, you can make a case to, if you're super chasing running backs and you lost Junkins or lost all these injuries and you're just desperate. One of my favorite desperation plays, to go back to that Bengals game, is Samaje Perine, because he keeps getting 35% and goal line touches. That would be one of my favorites. But go ahead and throw Malik Davis into that conversation, because he might just get garbage time touchdown.
Sure, but that's probably not where you're going to turn to in the finals.
No, but there's a lot of, Pat, you know this, there's people who watch you and I and have throughout the years, that's an 8-team league, and there's people who watch us that are in the 18-team league.
True, yeah, you're right.
Grasping for pieces.
Jacobs,
let me put it to this you. Let me throw one to you. Would you rather chase Malik Davis and hope for the touchdown, or bank on Tajay Spears doing what he did for the first time in about half the season last week?
I'd probably still go with Spears.
Okay. But at least in the conversation.
Yeah, I think Spears is the more explosive player, obviously in the worse offense, but I do think that you can guarantee his 6 touches. I don't know if you can do that with Malik Davis.
That's fair. But I think in the conversation.
And I do think that Tajay Spears ends up getting the more valuable touches, because they're usually receptions on 3rd and 23 where, have a free 20 yards. Go for it.
You can only hope.
That's what we saw against Kansas City last week, although they were winning. Yeah. It's funny that maybe they'll turn to that. Hey, they won a game. We used Tajay Spears a ton. He played great. Let's keep doing that. I would worry that if I made the finals and I started Genty, that I probably sat him last week if I could against Houston and he went off. Now I'll play him this week in what's statistically the best running back matchup, and he'll do nothing. That seems on par.
So fantasy is what you're telling us?
But just the Raiders in general.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly because the Giants will win this game, and it's the Giants' MO on top of it is that they'll dominate this game, ruin their draft pick because whoever wins this game also falls behind Cleveland because of strength of schedule, assuming Cleveland loses. So yeah, would be 100%. The Giants are going to go out, wax them 31-3, and Genty doesn't get anything.
Well, why? Listen, the Browns are probably going to win this week because that's the way we set up the Baltimore-Pittsburgh Week 18 game for Sunday Night Football.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. So there you go.
Yeah, it's because if Pittsburgh wins, it's over. They win the division. However, if they lose and Baltimore wins, then it's a win and get in game, I believe. I don't know the strength of schedule, but that would work out in my mind.
I think they would make them the Sunday night game or the Sunday afternoon, the 4 p.m. game, because you have the potential for the Sunday night game to be San Francisco, Seattle for the division and the number 1 seed,
or Carolina, Tampa Bay for the division as well. That's not a fun game. But if that's the only game that has relevancy, it would have to be the Sunday night game with the way that their like weird rules work.
Yeah, 100%. But if Seattle and San Francisco both win, or basically just if San Francisco wins this week, that game comes down to who gets the number 1 seed.
That's crazy to think about that San Francisco could end up with the number 1 seed after all of this.
Right? And they still have no defense.
No defense to speak of. Though you have to score 50 points a game. We'll try it. How many times can we give McCaffrey the ball? Let's do that.
I mean, the Bengals made the Super Bowl that way.
That is true. I was trying to. I'm going to talk about this more on the Spread Pick show, but I was trying to. The AFC is so weird. I can't ever remember a year like this where you look at every team, you're like, none of these teams like I feel great about, but all of them could make the Super Bowl if everything just kind of breaks their way. And I was trying to think of like historical comps for each of these teams. The only one I can really figure out is that the Bills remind me of the year the Packers won the Super Bowl. That all of it, or the year that Cuss mentioned this, that the year that the Colts ended up winning the Super Bowl when Bob Sanders just turned into a run stuffing machine and like their defense got good all of a sudden. That the same thing happened with the Packers that year where like they just snuck in, they had to go on the road, but all of a sudden their defense got like kind of good for 4 weeks. The offense stayed the same and they were unbeatable. Kind of feel like the Bills, if the defense just shows up out of nowhere, which I feel like we see with one of these teams, every single playoffs where this team that was like not a historically bad defense, just not a good defense, and all of a sudden they're kind of good for 4 weeks. Buffalo could just be that team.
I know. I'm looking through, and that's such a really good comparison. I was thinking if there was any more. Like originally, I was going to say the Steelers could be like the old Trent Dilfer Ravens, but that defense was miles.
Amazing.
The only one I could. You know what? Like the Jaguars kind of feel like. Do you remember Dyson down at the 1? Like those Titans. That's what the Jaguars kind of feel.
I was actually feeling like they remind me of that Saints team that won the Super Bowl that beat the Colts. They had this like opportunistic defense, and then this offense that. I mean, Breeze is obviously on a different level but I mean, he's not on a different level in the way that Lawrence has been playing the past 4 weeks. But if Lawrence just kind of keeps this up and they have this offense where they can spread everything around and then the defense just continues to be solid but opportunistic, they have that formula going though. And it's hard to judge them against these NFC teams where the NFC teams all seem like they're better than the AFC teams. But who knows?
Like, and if you had a bet as of today, and it would probably just be even money, but I would just bet NFC winner, like for the Super Bowl. Like, I feel like it would be a shock if an AFC team wins the Super Bowl this year.
I don't think it'd be a shock. Like, if you ended up getting like Bills, Seahawks.
Like I don't trust the Bills.
I don't trust the Seahawks either. So I just don't trust Darnold. Like Darnold.
I think that's a really good point. I guess I was going with the fact that like, so way back in like week 4 or 5, when somebody's like, what's your prediction? And I was like, I feel like the Rams, if they can stay healthy. And then I was struggling to figure. Like even at that point, that was week 4 or 5. I don't really know in the AFC. Like I just don't feel like anybody's a complete team, even close to a complete team.
The Rams are easily the most complete team, but they're gettable as we just saw.
Yeah,
and especially if they have to go through 1 or 2 of the NFC West teams in the playoffs as well. I think that throws a monkey wrench into everything. Like they win in the first. Let's say they end up as the 6th seed, and then they win their first round game. Then they have to play the Niners in the second round. It's like, okay, division game. They've already lost to the Niners once. And if somehow like everything breaks down, they win that game, they might end up having to play the Seahawks again.
That's a really good point. Well, I was just going to end up with the freaking Eagles all over again. That's what's going to happen.
Like, even if the Eagles, like, I guess they absolutely destroy the Bills this week, maybe that would give them a feather in their cap. But I feel like we forget that the Eagles played the Raiders and the Commanders the last 2 weeks and forget about all the other games they had before that against like reasonable teams where they didn't look very good.
That's true. See, but that's still the Eagles. Like, I just feel like, especially if Jalen Carter is healthy on the defense, I feel like the Eagles are always like. Let me ask you. Put it this way. Put it this way. Have we seen a game where the Eagles have played their best ball? Like, I don't think they've played like because there's always an issue. It's like
But
Jalen Hurts had a bad.
I'll throw it back to you. What if we have, and this is just who they are?
They are who they thought we were.
Well, yeah. Let's say that there is like the upside that we think that the Eagles had from last year just isn't existent this year. They're just not that team that we actually have seen them play their best ball at some point this year. We think that their ceiling is higher because they won the Super Bowl last year. But let's say it's not, because we see this happen it almost felt that way with the Chiefs last year, and even to an extent the Chiefs this year, where we all hold out the hope. It's like, oh, we've seen them play better than this historically. We know their ceiling is higher, but the Chiefs proved to us this year that just wasn't the case. Even last year, it wasn't the case. They snuck by, then they played a real team and got smoked.
See, but I completely get your point. I feel like watching the Eagles that the pieces have all still been there though. Like Jalen Hurts in his good games has been the Jalen Hurts. AJ Brown, since he said don't play me anymore, has been AJ Brown. Devontae Smith has flashed. Saquon Barkley first half of the season versus second half of the season. Second half of the season, he looks like 2024 Saquon Barkley. Jalen Carter in that defense. I just feel like I said, like if it hasn't been the fact that we've seen it all happen in different facets, my point was that it's never happened in the same week. To your point, though, that might just be who they are, is that they just can't get any consistency.
Okay, so continue leaving the questions in. You need to be subbed to the channel in order to ask them. Might as well smash like while you're here. Jake and I will return in a moment and get to all of them. Stay tuned. All right, people, it's that time of year again. The Mayo Cup is officially open. That's right, your yearly reminder that you could win life-changing money if you stop making coward picks and actually commit to greatness. Let's talk stakes, because the Mayo Cup, not messing around. $110,000 to first place. 110,000 actual real dollars. And with your $250 entry, you're playing for a prize pool of $1.2 million. That's 7 figures of pure, delicious fantasy golf sweat. And this season, the Mayo Cup is fully available in the Fanball app. Week-to-week picks, leaderboard sweats, berating yourself for fading the guy who wins by 6. You can do it all right from your phone. So head to the Fanball app, search for the Mayo Cup, and get yourself entered. $1.2 million in prizes. $110,000 to the winner. Just $250 to play. This is the year, unless you blow it again. But hey, you might not. Sign up now. The contest tees off January 15th. I gotta tell you about pre-alcohol, my secret weapon before a night out. I used to choose a great night or a great next day. Now, I get both with ZBiotics. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic made by PhD scientists to fight rough mornings. Alcohol creates a toxic byproduct in your gut, not dehydration, that ruins the next day. Pre-alcohol makes an enzyme to break it down. Drink it first, drink it responsibly, and wake up still feeling fresh. I was skeptical, but the first time that I tried it, rooftop, with my pals, drank it before my first cocktail, next morning, felt amazing, ready to crush the day. Go to zbiotics.com/PatMayo to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use PatMayo at checkout. ZBiotic is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, head to zbiotics.com/PatMayo and use the code PatMayo at checkout for 15% off. The holidays are here, the season of giving, and at Underdog, they're going big. They even hooked me up with Thunderbirds tickets. It was great. It's like Underdog knows me better than I know myself. But here's the crazy part. They know you guys just as well. From now through the 31st, Underdog is dropping exactly what you want. Daily promos every single day. College football, pro football, basketball, fight sports, you name it. Promos every day for you to enjoy. So check your app every day. It's Underdog Unwrapped, and it's going to be our best one ever. All right, Jake, let's get to these questions. Again, if you have questions, dump them in the chat, and you can ask.
Do you want the injury news real quick, though?
Oh, I didn't see it. Yeah, hit me.
McCarthy, unlikely to play, hand, and then Travion Henderson and Kayshon Boutte, concussion protocol.
Oh, so we might be down both of them. Any other Patriots receivers besides Zig? Like, would you play Kyle Hamilton? Kyle Williams.
I would go Mac Hollins before Kyle Williams.
Would you play Mac Hollins?
Desperation. Why? I'll jump into his rankings. It would be down by
Downs.
the low 40. No, Xavier Worthy, DK. Downs needs to go higher. He probably would have updated that after last night.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. There's been a zip in Rivers' arm last night.
Yeah, zip into the intermediate of the field. Everybody had the hope.
It was better than last week.
Oh, 100%. But this was the hope everybody had for Tyler Warren, is that the zip in the intermediate game would be a beneficiary Tyler Warren. It's not. It's been Dobbs. It was Dobbs in the first game that he looked to a decent amount. He still looked to Pittman. But last night was a hell of a lot more. The only problem is now that they're eliminated, we might not get Phillip Rivers next week.
Well, listen, he's back. He's going to play.
No, there was already talk from the beat reporters that they might turn to Riley Leonard to see what they have before next year.
I thought Richardson was like back and able to play.
It's the eyes still not 100%. And they're probably going to evaluate to see Riley Leonard. Like, they know Anthony Richardson's probably getting one last shot next year, but like, you might as well see if Riley Leonard's in the mix.
Okay. Mark asks, so is Lamar okay to play now? Even if he plays, I don't know if I want to play him. Like,
I don't know.
Like Ian has him at 12. He has Dart behind him. Even coming off the bad game, I would play Dart. I would play Caleb Williams over him.
I thought he changed it. I thought he texted us last night and he said, didn't he move Lamar down to like 22?
No, I don't remember.
I thought I deleted the text. I got to go back and find it, but I'm pretty sure he said like, screw it. We're not going to do this. I'm just going to drop him down to like 22.
Yeah. I wouldn't play him. I would play Tyler Shuck over him. I would play Darnold over him.
Just because you don't want to risk exactly what happened last week. You don't have this, not to talk about our teams, Pat, but we enjoy the misery as everybody else does. I started with Jason and Nakua, and I lost because freaking Superflex, including Lamar Jackson, getting in. He got freaking baned in the middle of the game.
Yeah, and even if he plays, like, do you really? What's he been doing for you?
The only good side of it is that week 15. He looked to be running without much limitation at all. Just like a little bit, but I mean, that's Lamar Jackson at this point of the season every year. So he looked back to himself, but then, I mean, I know it was a need of the back and I made the Bane joke, but I mean, that seems like something that kind of happens, that like old Lamar Jackson would be like, hey, you know what? He's going to be fine even back into the game. So there's just so many injuries going on with him at this point that I'm with you. I would risk Stroud. Herbert needs to move up even against Houston. Would you go Bryce Young or would you go Lamar Jackson?
I'd go Lamar if he plays. I don't think he's going to play, but that's me.
Neither do I. Would you go JJ McCarthy's not playing. I was going to say JJ McCarthy if he plays against Detroit for the upside, but JJ's not playing.
No, I wouldn't play any of these guys from the bottom here. It would be like Stroud versus Lamar. I'd probably go with Lamar just because Stroud, who knows? And the Chargers pass defense has been really good. They shut down Dallas.
They did, but he still threw for yards in that. Dak still threw for yards in that game. I don't know. Well, I guess that comes down to you just want to guarantee you get 10, which isn't a lot, but it's twice as much as Lamar just got.
That's true. He also got hurt in that game too. But I guess that's a part of the thing that you have to factor in too. That Lamar just might get. And everything you said about week 15, I agree with. He started to look normal again. Is he going to look normal coming off of a back injury that forced him out of a game?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I think he needs to be at least down in the 20 range. At least you start thinking in the conversation. Herbert needs to move up, but that's just complete sidebar.
Need one to start in the championship. DeAndre Swift, Jalen Warren, or Michael Carter. I would start DeAndre Swift.
I would too. Why does nobody still want to start DeAndre Swift?
Because it's a split backfield. Like that I can see the terror.
What? That he just leaves you hanging for the first time all year?
Yeah, well, what was the Michael Carter split last week between him and DeMercado?
He actually had about barely over 50% of the touches, DeMercado, and then the other one got involved too.
The other guy?
They picked
Kinner?
The one that
Corey Kinner.
Corey Kinner.
Yeah. He didn't seem very good.
No, but he got a few touches too, and it ended up being the fact that he was the lead. Carter was the lead, but it was barely over 50% of the touches.
Was Marvin Harrison Jr. just used as a decoy this past week? Would it be better to play Parker Washington? He wasn't. I mean, they took like 3 deep end zone shots with him. He just didn't come down with it. He just had a bad game.
Yeah, he comes down. One of them hit him in the chest, like right off the chest. And you put that one on the board. You put the Trey McBride touchdown on the board. I know I made the joke about Jacoby Brissett, but Jacoby Brissett was 2 bumbles by his teammates. from having a 3-touchdown game.
Well, just even to watch that, like I had money on Arizona. Obviously, that didn't end up coming through. But they kicked, 5 field goals and missed another one? Like, they were in the red zone the entire game.
Yeah. So that point being, I'm not worried too much about Jacoby Brissett. You said Marvin Harrison wasn't so much a decoy as he just wasn't on the field the entire time. He's only out there for about 55%.
Oh, we lost Jake.
So I would 100% play him over Parker Washington. Parker Washington took the benefit of the one vulnerability of the Broncos defense basically all year long is in the slot. He played almost twice as much as Jacoby Myers did in the slot that game. And then on top of it, what did the Broncos do? They focused on Brian Thomas and Jacoby Myers, and then they just got ate up underneath by Parker Washington and even Brenton Strange, your boy.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of threads. You need to pick these guys up for your fantasy finals, and Parker Washington being one of them. I think as like a desperation, you could play Parker Washington. I wouldn't be like actively going out of my way to play him.
No, I would put Parker Washington in the same conversation where he has him in the same conversation like an AD Mitchell.
100%. Or Pittman, or even Mac Hollins if Boutte ends up missing this game.
Yeah.
Baker or Love? I would just play Baker because I think Love's matchup isn't good and he might not play.
Agreed on both. And you also have outdoors, which makes the injury like we all know this playing in that kind of cold weather, as we just saw with Jacobs, it just adds the potential to like have that injury kind of bother you throughout the entire game or even get aggravated. I think too many people are down on Baker Mayfield after being disappointed from last week, but it wasn't the worst game. And Baker Mayfield still looks good with Mike Evans out there. The biggest concern I have about that, as I already touched on it, is Ibuka is now, you might as well just throw Ibuka to the waiver. That'd be sabotage drop. Let somebody go pick up Ibuka, see his name and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to put him in my lineup.
The other move, too, where Baker's upside comes into play is that at least 2 times of every 3 goal line chances, they don't run. They just throw to Mike Evans.
How many fades did he try in that game alone?
A million. He ended up with 1 that worked, but at least you know he's throwing. You're less likely to get a touchdown vultured on the ground rather than Baker throwing now that Mike Evans is back.
No, easily. And the thing they always like with Baker Mayfield too is like taking the over on his single longest run.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't run a lot, but then when he does, it always seems to be like a 20-yarder on that one run that he takes.
I do love watching him run because he runs exactly the way that everyone always said that I used to run, whether it be baseball, football. I have really little legs, and his legs just look like they're going like Speedy Gonzalez, but he's not actually going all that fast. It just looks like he's going fast.
You can't describe it any better.
like when you see Cam Ward run, like dude has strides, and like it doesn't look like he's moving fast, but clearly he is because he's just running. Even Shadur Sanders, who's again not that fast, but he takes these long strides. Baker's just going like he's like the road runner, but slow.
He's still moving like this slow.
Yeah. Which quarterback should I play? Goff, Dart, or Trevor Lawrence? It'd be hard. It'd be hard to sit Trevor Lawrence, man, with the way that he's been playing.
How do you not? Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you not play Trevor Lawrence at this point?
Especially with Indy, the way that they looked at home, and this was one of my caps. It was the biggest bet that I won all year was on San Francisco on Monday night. After getting a ton wrong all week, like that was the one thing I was convinced of. Because even after watching the Seattle game against Rivers, like they moved the ball at will against Indy. They just kept settling for it's a lot like Arizona against Atlanta. They just kept settling for field goals. Well, what happens when they don't settle for field goals on a faster track when you have no secondary? Then teams are going to put up 50 points on you, and Jacksonville might do that to them again this week.
Where does he have Trevor Lawrence?
He has Trevor Lawrence
7. I would play him over Stafford without Adams.
I don't know. Stafford posted some pretty gaudy results against a much better defense without Adams.
He did, but also you saw the threat of every time turning to Kyron Williams and Blake Corum to take the touchdowns. That's the only concern is that it kind of Stafford is now without Adams in kind of that Brock Purdy where, it just worked out, obviously, with the touchdowns. But the 2 games prior, it was back-to-back games of 1 touchdown for Purdy in games that they scored plenty just because they didn't need them. And they just ended up scoring in other aspects on the ground or defensively or whatever it is. So, I mean, I'm going Lawrence over Stafford without Adams, but like the point being is he's inside the top 7. How do you not start Lawrence is the real answer that we had.
To answer your question, it's Lawrence. Next one, Dowdle or Devontae Smith? I'd play Devontae Smith.
I would just chase Devontae Smith too.
Yeah, Seattle's been worse against the run lately, but when that's all you got.
Backfield every single week. And the thing is like what they've done it hasn't been like 100% like this always happens. But Chuba Hubbard is a better blocker than Dowdle. And in those games, they've kind of given Hubbard more touches early on. And then the 3 weeks ago when that happened, I think it was, he basically controlled that entire game because they kept going back to him because it was working. And that's the problem with this backfield. You just never know.
Last flex spot, Jalen Warren, Kyle Pitts, or Michael Hurricane Carter?
Jalen Warren?
Yeah, I'd go with Warren too. It's not a non-conversation with Pitts. The matchup with Pitts is bad. And if London is like back this week, then we saw the devaluation of Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, London ran one fewer route. And it's just the fact that if you watch them, though, there's twofold. There's one, the explosiveness wasn't 100% there, but as you said, another game back. And then the other part is he blocked a lot out there. It's just, I was like, because I was watching him. I had a desperation play not desperation, but I went London over McLaurin in one of my leagues. And so I had my eyes on London. I'm like, damn it, he's blocking again. just run the route, dude, and throw to him.
Burrow or Knicks? I'm going Burrow against Arizona.
I'm going Burrow too. How do you not go Burrow? That's another one. I know what Knicks brings for the upside, but Burrow with Higgins is top 5 every single week.
Jaden Reed, Josh Downs, A.D. Mitchell, or Troy Franklin. Pick one. Already has Cortland Sutton starting. Probably go Jaden Reed. I guess if Love's not starting, I probably don't want to play Jaden Reed.
Yeah, so it's Malik Willis ruins that one. I think it comes down to I would actually go with Downs if it is Rivers. If it's not Rivers, then I would. But we should know. We should know the Rivers situation before Thursday. I was going to say Franklin.
You know what?
No Pat Bryant.
I actually think A.D. Mitchell is the answer here. I know he wasn't used a ton, but the Patriots defense has just been not good since they lost all their guys. That unless like it's
still Brady Cook.
Yeah. But you only have like 2 guys to throw to. They can't just throw to Smart every play like they did on that final drive.
No, but there's no Pat Bryant for the Broncos because dude put him in the hospital.
Yeah, so would you go Franklin and Sutton? That's who you're going to roll out?
Oh, he has Sutton too?
Yeah.
See, like I don't get concerned with starting 2, even 3 players from the same team. Obviously, the third wouldn't be another wide receiver, but I'll use it as a tie break. So in that case, yeah, I can see flipping off Franklin. I want to give him the finger pat. Good phrasing there.
Would you play Jennings or Pitts in the flex? I would play Juwan Jennings if that's the Jennings we're going with, not some sort of weird backup.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings, 100%.
T-Mac or Ladd? Who is T-Mac? Is that Tet McMillan?
Yeah, that's what he wants to be called. You said he doesn't like Tet.
Okay, but it's not. Is it? I thought it was McMillan, not Macmillan.
Yeah, but you can. I mean, McMillan. You can always make Mac as a nickname.
No. You talk to some people in Ireland and Scotland about that one. See how they enjoy that.
The nickname he's stealing is Tracy McGrady, who went by T-Mac.
Yeah, because his name was Mac Grady, M-A-C.
No, it was it was MC.
Was it? Well, that again, it makes no logical sense. No, I am not adhering to
your huge Irish fan base is getting upset.
Or my Scottish fan base is really pissed off.
Wait, so what was the question?
Would you play McMillan or would you play Ladd McConkey?
I would play McMillan.
I play McMillan as well. Although it's pretty close. Like there's both bad matchups. You know what? I would go with Ladd because I trust Herbert to overcome a bad matchup more than I trust Bryce Young to overcome a bad matchup. And we're in the off week for the Panthers. They just won, so they're clearly going to get blown out this week. They go win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose.
Fair. It's close enough. I was going more for the fact of Bryce Young essentially has McMillan and then kind of goes to Coker, sometimes kind of goes to Leggett sometimes. Whereas, yeah, Ladd McConkey's the one, but then you see Quentin Johnston, Trey Harris all of a sudden late in the season. So it's just more opportunities for Herbert to go to other people, but I'm okay if you want to go Ladd. I give the slight edge to McMillan, but T-Mick. You know, what if you call him T-Mick?
T-Mick? No love for Bill Krosky Merritt. Well, I mean, unless you're playing for the last place game, that's probably not an option for you. What a terrible pick.
He's the third option on the team.
Hey, what a terrible pick that guy was. You get very few things right. I'm glad I didn't take that guy.
I didn't either. Well, I got the report from Ben Standig, and he said they're not going to want him use him earlier in the season because he played one game over the last 2 years, and they wanted to keep him. The thing was, the report was from him that they wanted to keep him healthy for the second half because they really liked him. Turns out they just don't want to use him, period.
They just love Chris Rodriguez. That's their guy. Need a flex play. So many injuries. Ricky Purcell, Jaden Higgins, Jerry Jeudy, Theo Johnson, or Zacchaeus. Oh, that's tough.
Well, it's Pearsall if he's healthy.
Is it? He's had one good game in 10 weeks.
No, but every time he's healthy, he's actually doing it. It's just he doesn't even make it through a game. And that's the thing.
Yeah, the problem is no one else here is any good.
I know.
You know what?
The problem, they're your finger paintings.
I would probably play Theo Johnson, honestly, against the Raiders. Might as well.
Who are the other options?
Jerry Jeudy, Jaden Higgins, or Zacchaeus.
I mean, Zacchaeus didn't do a whole lot. But again, that was the matchup. I mean, you could go with Zacchaeus if there's no Luther Burden and no Romadunze again.
I suppose that's true. And you will know by Saturday if that's the case.
Against San Francisco?
Yeah. Which would you play in the championship? Jacksonville, New England, or Detroit defense? Probably play New England.
Jacksonville, New England, or Detroit? I love Detroit, though.
I love Detroit. Yeah, Detroit against Brosmer is pretty good. New England against New England against the Jets is fantastic.
It is, but so I didn't do streamers. I just did straight up rankings because I mixed streamers and, you never know who people might have dropped. Actually, mine right now, I go Denver, Detroit, Pittsburgh, New England, Jacksonville is my top 5.
So here's why I would say New England over Detroit. I think that you will see more pass attempts come from the Jets than you will from if it is it will be Brosmer. If it's Brosmer, and it is going to be Brosmer, only because I think the Minnesota defense can hold up a little bit. If you think that Detroit can score a bunch of points, especially early, then the answer is Detroit. If not, you almost are guaranteed that New England's going to be winning like 14-3 after the first quarter, and then Brady Cook's going to have to chuck the entire game. And he just took 9 sacks against the Saints. And
I mean, that's certainly fair, but
like to X out Jacksonville, especially if it's not Rivers, then I think it's a different story. But Rivers doesn't take sacks.
Well, no, I agree with you, but that's why I put Jacksonville there is because I was going off the reports that if you're looking for a streamer, some people were using them, some people weren't. I'm stashing them on the case that they turn away from Rivers because they're eliminated from the playoffs. But to yours, like I don't hate the Patriots. I have them at 4. It just comes down to I do think the Lions are going to be able to get out in front of the Vikings, and I do think this is going to be a game where they wake back up. For everybody that's talking about last week, you mentioned it. It's like one is that run game from everybody since Harmon's been healthy has been just locked up by the Steelers. But the other part of it too is people are like, well, you know what's wrong with the Lions is they lost Ben Johnson. It's still the top scoring offense in the damn league. Ben Johnson's not the problem. The offensive line being hurt more. So the defense can't stop anybody is the problem. So let's get this right about the Lions.
Well, listen, they've scored a bunch of points. It feels like when they need plays, though, they can't get them. Like when they're rolling, they continue to roll. There does seem to be a complete lack of creativity in their offense now. It's just a lot of the same stuff over and over.
But it's
when
still
it works,
But
when it works, it works great. But when they get into a jam like they saw in these games, like they can't figure their way out of it with something new like they used to be able to.
Right. So but it's been better since Campbell took over. And to that is the fact that he's lacking the creativity. So I'll give you that. They're running back. They're basically Campbell's running back the Ben Johnson Campbell offense from last year. And everybody's like, yeah, we know what you're trying to do at this point. Similar to the Dolphins. Everybody's stopping Mike McDaniel. It's like, cool. You want to try to beat us underneath with your speed? Well, we're just going to play a huge bubble over top of you and you can't do anything. So you're right in that aspect. But I still, point being, Brosmer could throw 3.
Dart or Shuck? I would go with Dart.
You would?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, against the Raiders.
I mean, look at it this way. If they do call run, and don't throw to the second quarter again, maybe Dart's already got 60 rushing yards.
I do love that. It's like, all right, let's drop back and pass. He throws a strike to Theo Johnson, like threw his hands off his chest pick.
It's like, I will say that game alone eliminated Kafka from any serious conversation as a head coach. That game on its own.
One thing that I completely forgot about it. I have it in like my list of notes of like certain rules that you don't go against. Flores against a rookie quarterback. Just don't do it. I totally forgot about it.
You're 100% right, but I was going with I'd still risk Dart as a mid upper QB2 because that's where I had him. Because you're right, but I actually figured they'd have some creativity and they just let Dart run free the previous game. Like if you're going to call that many runs, call a designed run for Jackson Dart. That was one of the worst coach games I've seen probably in about 5 years.
Jags, Giants, Bengals, or Cowboys as a defense? I think it's between the Jags and the Cowboys. Is Quentin Williams expected to be back?
I'm glad you brought that up. So I would go the Jaguars, what I talked about earlier. But if Quinion Williams is back, I think he's certainly in play. But it's the short week. Sounded like he was kind of close last week, though. So
I would go
Williams is back.
If it's Quinton Williams back and Josh Johnson playing, I'd go with the Cowboys.
Yes, I completely agree.
Is Jalen Carter going to be back this week?
He's another one. It sounded like Williams and Carter were both about the same level of it's iffy, but they just waited another week.
Like, do the Eagles care? They can't really get the 1 seed, and they're already clinched the division. Like, why not just try to keep him healthy at this point?
That's a good point. So maybe not. Maybe he's less likely to come back than Williams.
Jalen Warren, Kyle Pitts, Michael Carter. Pick 2. I'd go with Pitts and Warren.
I would do. Michael Carter didn't. We just talked about it.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson or Terry McLaurin. I think we both answered this one. Justin Jefferson, even with Brosmer.
Just even with him. Man, that sucks so much too, because the connection we talked about on this ranking show last week, the Jefferson, it was finally starting to develop with JJ McCarthy. And we saw it until he got hurt. It was happening.
I got there. I had him over 7.5 targets on Underdog, and he had like 6 in the first 20 minutes of the game.
You were sweating that.
I was like, oh my God, they just need to throw his direction once more. Come on, Brosmer. He finally did. So like halfway through the fourth quarter, I was like, thank God. Here we go. Who do I bench? Javonte, Barkley, or Hampton? Unfortunately for me, it would be Hampton. Like, I think Javonte and Barkley are just better plays.
Ooh, I don't know. Amir Hampton with 20 touches?
Against Houston? Like, all these guys are going to get 20 touches.
I know, but Houston's run defense, like I just mentioned, their defense the last 2 weeks has been falling apart. I'm going to actually bench Javonte.
I wouldn't do it against Washington, and I wouldn't do it against the Bills. Neither one of those teams can stop the run.
I just don't know that Javonte gets 20 because I don't think they need to. I think that's one of those ones where they could just get out and be done.
This guy is facing his brother in the fantasy championship, and he's already down 28.
More.
Yeah, well, he's already down 28 points, so it's tough. It's a 2-week final. 1 wide receiver, 1 flex from these guys. Debo, Evans, Coker, Diggs, Reed, Swift, and Carter. For me, it's Evans and Diggs.
Evans and Diggs.
Especially with Boutte out. I mean, if you really did...
We just needed 2?
Yeah, we just need 2.
We're on the... I think we jinxed on that one, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't want to play Diggs, like Swift would be the next guy for me.
Yes.
But
he's shooting for ceiling.
Yeah. For my super flex spot, should I wait on Mariota reports or pick up Rivers and play someone like Romeo Doubs? Ooh. What would you do there? Because we don't know if Rivers is going to play now.
That's what I would stash Riley Leonard. If Rivers and Mariota are out, I would play Riley Leonard over Josh Johnson.
Yeah.
Riley Leonard will run.
Yeah, I mean, so will Josh Johnson, theoretically, although he's like 90 years old.
Yeah, but he's also got more career interceptions than touchdowns too, though.
Fair. Monungai at San Francisco or Corum at Atlanta? I would actually play Monungai here.
I play Corum at this point.
I'd play the guy in the higher scoring game. And Atlanta's defense...
I get it.
Like, Atlanta's defense isn't bad. It's not good, but it's not bad.
No, but like to be like clear that I was wrong. I was one of the highest ranked people for Blake Corum last week, and it was still way too low because again, I go back to my argument. He is David Montgomery 2024 for these last 4 or 5 games.
I don't have as much. I have more faith that Monungai's gonna get those touches, but I don't know. I mean, Corum. Listen, I probably should know because Corum keeps getting them. But I just have more faith in Monungai in a projected higher scoring game against a worse defense.
You know what I just sidebar realized is that I should not wear this color because it makes me look like I blushed my face really heavy.
Listen, sometimes the lighting doesn't work. We got new lights in here now. And like I'm wearing...
I know you look really good with that, like everything.
I so rarely wear white too that it's just so different. I usually wear very dark colors on air. Now I'm wearing like maybe I'll switch to white all the time. Looks hard to keep white. It's hard to keep white clean. Like I have a nice white sweater and it's like already.
Yes.
I've had it for 4 days.
The worst part is when you have a white anything with colored pattern on it, because like you can't bleach it, and then it's the whole combination. By the way, do you have one of the? Is that your ring? Do you have the whole tungsten black one? Is that what that was? Yeah,
this one. No, it's I actually got this idea from Kirk Cousins like 8 years ago. It is I just bought them. I bought 20 of them off like Etsy for $40. They're like rubber silicone rings.
Oh, really?
I never have to take it off. I can work out with it on. Never falls
that's why
off.
I did the tattoo.
It's great. So, yeah, the tattoo can work. I don't care enough about a ring. My wife doesn't give a shit either. So it's like, yeah, this is perfect. More questions. Let's win your fantasy finals for you. This guy says, I'll catch the rest of the stream later, but thanks, Jake and Pat, for all the content this season. Appreciate the effort every week. Made it to 2 finals.
Screw you, Ian.
Yeah, fuck off, Ian. Ian has like 8 shows he's filming today. That's why he couldn't do it today, because everyone's trying to get their content in before Christmas. Dak against Washington outside, or Trevi versus the Colts? I mean, that's a legitimate coin flip for me.
It is, but I'm going Trevor Lawrence still.
You know what?
Again,
I'll go with you. I will go with Trevor Lawrence with you.
It comes down to, like, I know that the Cowboys can wax that Commanders defense. It's just, do they pull their starters?
No.
I know that's, but it's the tie. It's enough hesitation in my mind as a tie break. I don't think it happens, but it's enough for me to say, you know what, when it's this close, I'm going to go with the team that's playing for something.
Carter, Warren, Dowdle, or Chris Rodriguez. I would play Tyler
Warren.
Or Jalen Warren. Not Tyler Warren. I play Tyler Warren too, but I assume this is
Jalen Warren.
Jalen Warren. Caleb Williams or Brock Purdy in half-point PPR? Well, he leans Caleb probably because Caleb might have a catch in that game, I suppose. Although Purdy almost had a catch last night. Tonjes ended up with it, but I would play Purdy in that matchup.
I would play Purdy too.
And who should I start for wide receiver 2, running back 2, and flex? Javonte Williams, James Cook, Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, Tet McMillan, or Taysom Hill? Or
This is first world problems.
Yeah, so Javonte, James Cook, and Mike Evans. Those are your 3. Would you play? I guess the question is, would you play Mike Evans or Tet McMillan?
Mike Evans.
I would play Mike Evans
by a mile.
Rico or Chris Rodriguez? There, I would actually go with Rico.
Dowdle.
Running
Especially
back 2.
Quinion Williams is back.
Oh, this guy just asked like the same question again, just worded a different way. And just using this, and the fact that he used T-Mac again. Yeah, T-Mac might get you banned. He said, here's one. At tight end, should he go Taysom, Juwan, Goddard, Strange, or Loveland? I would just play Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson. The Taysom Hill, like, as much as we talked about him earlier, that's the Hail Mary play. That's if you just feel bad about your team and you're shooting for the upside.
Yeah, well, you need 5 for 50 and maybe a touchdown. Juwan Johnson's your guy.
Yeah.
Non-PPR, Jalen Warren or Tyrone Tracy Jr.? I think that's pretty close, honestly.
Warren.
Like bad matchup for Warren. We already talked about with DK Metcalf being out, they might stack the box. And then you have Tracy, who just continues to get this work. And now he gets the Raiders, who just let fake Michael Jordan run all over them. That guy.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Fake Michael Jordan. Actually, you know what? I think I would lean slightly Tracy in this one, just because it was so obvious what they were doing to start that game. Like, Tracy was having success against the Vikings defense.
This one's specific.
They just stopped.
This one is specifically for you. Do you want Eddie Pinheiro or the Fair Bear Countdown?
Can I say it like you do, Pat? Fuck off.
I'll write that one down for you.
Actually, you know what? Did you see the thing? Because the Lions game, did you see the person that posted the meme about the end of the Lions game?
No.
It was like the referee is like, touchdown, fans, yay. But fuck off, the game's over.
I would play Fair Bear there. I think you just play Fair Bear in every week.
I don't think people understand this. I don't pay attention. I don't give a lick. That's why I have a band kicker's freaking t-shirt on RotoWare. I don't care.
Just Texans kicker. They hate scoring touchdowns, and like their offense can kind of move. Just play that guy. And they let him try it from like 65 every single week. Why not? Dak, Brissett, or Lawrence? I think we decided on Lawrence. Lawrence, Dak, Brissett. Although all 3 of them would be top 10 for me.
They're all great. Yes.
Juwan Jennings or Amarian Hampton. There I would play Hampton.
Ooh, Hampton. That's close though.
Darren Waller or TJ Warren? I don't know who TJ Warren is.
Probably means Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren? I'd play Tyler Warren then.
I would actually go with Waller.
Waller doesn't do anything. Remember that.
I know, but even as in a pretty kind of game from yours, he's still got, what was it, like 4 for 50 or whatever? They only have 3 options to go to.
They do, but you could always luck out with a TJ, don't call me TJ, Tyler Warren, like 1-yard rushing touchdown. Like he just might fall into the end zone that way.
You could, but it's Tampa Bay's final defense. They're just going to pass the entire game.
Is Brissett or Burrow a dumb question? I don't think so, but I would play Burrow.
No, but I would play Burrow too.
Mr. Mayo's number 101 for fantasy golf this year. I literally posted my rankings yesterday. It's Scotty Scheffler, clearly. Hampton or Harvey? 0.5 PPR. I play Harvey.
Only because of the matchup. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. Those are all the questions for the year, sir. Thank you again. Season 11 in the books.
Has it been 11? I thought it'd been 12.
I mean, it is
know
12.
anymore.
I'm old. I don't remember things.
We're both old, honestly.
I know. I got a third kid on the way. My brain's going to turn to mush.
Holy crap. When due?
March.
I don't know why I asked that like I was Tarzan. When due? When
When
baby
due?
come?
Yeah. That's with every kid I keep remembering less.
That's usually what happens. Plus, we're old. Your memory starts to go. But hey, Merry Christmas. Congratulations. Your last Merry Christmas for only 2 kids to buy presents for.
Yeah, this is true. The guy says, let's go Mayo Cup. Yeah, join the Mayo Cup. You got to get your entry in too, Jake. FantasyGolfChampionships.com. $250 for the year. So that's 31 tournaments, like $6 per week. And you can win $110,000 at the end. And 1.2 million guaranteed. The link is in the description for this video. It's already like 16% full, which is shocking before January.
Usually my sign up usually comes right after week 18 in the NFL season when I can pay attention.
That's the move. So I actually tweeted it out this morning about joining it. So if anyone out there is watching, has X and follows me, please give that a retweet. I would very much appreciate it because it's imperative that this tournament fills. Oh, there is one more question here. Just says Josh Allen. None injury, no problem. He says he's playing.
Yeah, he said he's playing, and there hasn't even actually been anything concerning yesterday, which would have just been estimated news.
This guy says, I'm in the chip, up 25 points. Don't ever use chip. It makes you sound fucking stupid. Don't do that. That's the last thing you'll hear from me in the ranking show this year. Don't do that. That's terrible. It's like saying tutties. It just makes you sound like your pastime is smashing your head against the wall.
Legitimately, I think this is the second highest show for F-bombs of the year.
It is. I do have them all coded for you, though, so it's not that
Thank
bad.
you. Yes.
No, no problem. I'm here to help you. That is my Christmas gift to you, Jake.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in this season. Jake, Ian, and I will be back with periodic stuff dropping in. So don't forget that we're here at Mayo Media Network. Please subscribe. Please smash the like on the way out. And go to 4for4.com to check out my rankings as of Wednesday, or just sub to the email, and the email list will get sent directly to you. That's always a way you can do it. Thanks again for watching all year. Good luck in the fantasy finals. I'll see you next time.